it is quite natural for China and Africa to partner, to cooperate. I think the beauty of our partnership is that this is a partnership based on what we truly call on equality, on mutual respect, and allowing countries to choose policies and strategies that suit their own situation.
Welcome to CCG Ambassador Dialogues. So I'm very pleased today to present Ambassador Teshome Chanaka, Your Excellency from Ethiopia. So Ambassador Chanaka, welcome to CCG.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wang, for having me for this Ambassador's Dialogue at the CCG.
As we all know that China-African are really strong partners, and we just had a forecast last year, a very successful China-African Cooperation Forum. And Ethiopia is the one of the largest trading partner from Africa with China. So what's your impression in general about your experience in China and your overview of China-African, China-Ethiopian cooperation?
Thank you, Dr. Wang, again. And yes, I have been in Beijing for the last 3 years, and I have been asked about my impression about this country. I think there are areas of civilization, culture, history, diversity, this and that, but the most single impression I carry with me always about China is its transformation in the last 45 years. In the history of human development, I think this country has achieved a phenomenal transformation in just 4 decades. Africa has more, again, to offer because this continent has untapped, huge natural resources. Apart from the population size, we have youngest population actually in the world is in Africa. So I say that it is quite natural for China and Africa to partner, to cooperate, to work with. No serious country can avoid China, no serious country can avoid the continent of Africa. China has taken major infrastructure project in Ethiopia, and that project, because the way we defined it actually has been contributing not only in creating infrastructure, but also in alleviating poverty. And then, of course, we have investment from China, we have trade with China, we have technology transfer, we have financing cooperation with China. So this is a partnership benefiting both sides. When Chinese companies invest in Ethiopia, in Africa, the first thing they do is they create jobs for our young people. They boost our capacity and productivity. They increase our export. Export means earning foreign currency that we need. It is technology transfer, and it is also building capacity. The cooperation with China, for instance, if you take with Ethiopia, it is not only limited to industrialization, to trade, but we also cooperate in digital economy, in technology transfer. The first satellite for Ethiopia was launched here in China with support from the government of China. I think the beauty of our partnership, Dr. Wang, again, I want to mention is that this is a partnership based on what we truly call on equality, on mutual respect, and allowing countries to choose policies and strategies that suit their own situation. Outside Africa and outside China, many perceive that this is a partnership benefiting China. This is not correct, because I always argue that, Dr. Wang, a partnership that does not benefit both will not sustain long. It will not stay long.
Africa is a fascinating place, absolutely. I remember when I was a child, actually, my father went to Africa, worked on the Tanzania-Zambia railway. So that was in the 1970s, and I remember he came back from Africa and tell me how vast, how rich, abundant in natural resources African are, and how big the continent is. So what do you think about this, project cooperation, Belt and Road, for example, and how we can really work together to strengthen such a cooperation?
We have defined the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, which is part of the Belt and Road initiative, as our #1 priority. Why? Because 90% of Ethiopian export goes through Djibouti, the import as well as export. So you can see how critical that project is. So China financed the project, and they also helped us in construction of the railway, and at the same time, of course, they are managing and training Ethiopians actually to take over the management of the railway. Now it is a two-nation-owned infrastructure project. It benefits both Djibouti and Ethiopia, but China also Chinese companies also benefited from it. Secondly, let me also take another important Belt and Road projects like the industrial parks. These are basis for industrialization, and it made us competitive in terms of attracting investment because the service is one center and every infrastructure necessary is put in one place. So you can see that it makes Ethiopia a competitive, attractive for foreign direct investment. Now, we know how much digital economy is now contributing to Chinese recovery, and we are just starting. Many, not many actually, few African countries have entered into digital economy, but it's at a very young stage. So we have a Chinese company who are willing to work with us in this regard. So it is a sort of what we call win-win situation, yes, for both the Chinese enterprises as well as for African countries. Countries like Rwanda, countries like Ethiopia, and I think a few other countries, Tanzania, all are entering into digital economy. And for your information, I promoted one Ethiopian coffee trading brand in Shanghai online. Yes. And in 5 seconds, we sold 11,000 bags of Ethiopian coffee.
Oh, in
five seconds.
5 seconds, yes, yes.
I mean, this is totally unthinkable.
Yes.
In the past.
Yes.
So we can see the miracle of e-commerce, digital economy, and we have understood, I think, the importance and significance of such an infrastructure. I think the opportunity is there. We have challenges here and there, but again, my thinking is that you can have challenges, and in every cooperation you have a challenge. The best way is to continue and to do more cooperation, not less. And I think both sides have stakes now.
And you gave many good stories, like you talk about, there's a private sector also involvement. We actually know that there's a company called Huajian, President Zhang, I mean, he actually invests in Africans through industrial parks. Has one of the biggest shoe manufacturing there, and then helps the Ethiopia export.
There are several private sector actually, textile, shoe factories, and pharmaceuticals who are working in Ethiopia. It's a huge contribution, as I said, job creation for us. Like that, one company has created job for 8,000 Ethiopians. It's not only creating job, it's supporting, if you take an average family in Ethiopia has 5 members, and if you multiply 80,000 by 5, it is about 40,000 people being supported in one single project. So we need to bring in, I think, the private sector when it comes to trade, when it comes to investment, when it comes to even digital economy, when it comes to pharmaceutical sectors. So we look forward to really enhanced, strengthened, and revitalized work between Chinese public and private sector.
I see there's a lot of similarity between Africa and China. So I see that China experience and China path of development can be transformed in Africa for some extent. But of course, there's some criticism on that. Say, oh, China is doing the debt trap, or which I think is not true.
loan is not something that is imposed on any country. Let me say that very clearly. I can talk for my own country. Loan is not imposed, or debt is not imposed on us. But there is a structural problem where debt is accumulated. So we come and ask for loan ourselves. We have borrowed $4 billion for the railway project between Djibouti and Ethiopia. And it is worth an investment. We needed it. So we come and ask China for a loan, because for that matter, there was no other country willing to finance that project. And it's, I think, the case with most of the countries that borrow money now. And of course, the problem with the debt trap concept, I don't know why when it comes to loan from China that it becomes a debt trap, and then when it comes loan from other sources. The problem is that with some infrastructure projects, I think, because of capacity problem, because of, I think, technological problem, because of management problems, most of the projects do not mature or complete in time, and then the debt matures. And then in order to pay the debt, you get another loan, and then it ends up in what we call debt accumulation. I think the best way, again, is to sit down and address the critical bottleneck, structural bottleneck that is facing, I think, the debtor countries, and then that is exactly what we are trying to do. But to really discuss and then create this perception that getting loan from China puts African countries into debt trap, and then African countries should not borrow money from China, and no, I think that's not the fair approach. It's not even helpful for Africa.
No.
It's not helpful for Africa, I think. The best way for China and Africa, I think, the way forward is that we are already in it. We need to sit down and discuss and find a solution. And I think that is the right track to go, and that is precisely what we are doing now.
Now I understand in Ethiopia there's some civil conflicts. There's some northern part. There's some unstable situation, and so what has been going on probably is having the concern of Ethiopia and people outside Ethiopia. Perhaps you could give a bit of explanation of what's going on there.
The conflict actually started in northern part of Ethiopia, and of course there is political background to it. We had differences with the party that is ruling the northern part of Ethiopia called Tigray region, and then we have the federal government. We had political differences, and we have opted for dialogue to resolve political problems, to give it a political solution. Unfortunately, the force in northern part of Ethiopia opted for military means, and they attacked one of our command forces. We introduced law enforcement operation in that part of the country. We actually succeeded in doing, but when we moved our military out of that region, then they regrouped themselves and they came and attacked and extended the war to other two regions. But now they are again pushed back to the region, and we have a number of issues actually there. One is the government of Ethiopia again declared humanitarian truce, so that humanitarian assistance goes to the needy in northern part of Ethiopia unfettered, unimpeded. Currently there is no ongoing sort of conflict as used to be. But the problem is that forces, there are some two armed groups which are trying to undermine the ongoing process, but as a government we are trying our level best so that the national dialogue succeeds, and then any issue under the sun is brought to the table, and so that we discuss. Of course, we have to set a priority, whether it is change of constitution, whether it is change of governance, whether it is, everything should be done through dialogue. And we have an ongoing AU effort to which Ethiopia has given its support. And that's where we are in terms of the political process in the country. Of course, the economy has been hit hard by both the pandemic as well as the conflict in the northern part of Ethiopia has affected. Yes, we have currently a challenge, but we hope that we will overcome. We need wisdom, we need unity of purpose. We really need to join hands with the leadership of Prime Minister Abiy so that we can enhance the efforts that we have already launched. Particularly, we make sure that we positively contribute and be involved in the national dialogue process. If we have limitations here and there, then we just participate and try to, make our own contribution in a very constructive way, in a very future-looking way. We cannot really get stuck in our past. I think we need to move forward, and that's what we are trying to do.
And we really hope that there will be more dialogue, as you said, and of course there will be more consensus, and we try to minimize the conflict as much as possible, so we can really, see a peaceful development and also, continued prosperous development for Ethiopia. And we all come to the conclusion there will be enormous opportunities, potentials, and cooperation between China and African countries and Ethiopia. And so once again, thank you, Ambassador, for your insights, and thank you for coming to CCG.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Thank you for having me.